the National Legends Cars Championship in association with Park Lane Cars. Our second day's racing at the home of Welsh Motorsports, Pembrey Circuit. And Miles Rudman, top point scorer yesterday. He'll be keen to maintain the championship lead that he brought here to Wales and extended yesterday. 250 points the advantage over John Mickle, with Will Gibson in third. Marcus Pett jumping in the previous round from 7th to 4th. Steve Whiteleg in 5th place, and 6th place the team car of Chris Needham and Gareth Sheridan. Preparations ongoing down in the garages here ahead of another 3 races. Let's join Bill Reid, who is with Barry.
Bill, always great to catch up with drivers, and you're one of our season drivers, done 5 or 6 full years of this stuff.
Yeah.
So what first encouraged you into it?
Back in about 2005, I was at Oulton Park watching racing, just got a season ticket, and the Legends were on. I thought I'd love to have a go at one of them, and didn't think anything of it. Anyway, a couple of years later, there was an advert in the Oldham Cron, and it said, "Do you want to drive a Legend?" So I thought, yeah, I do. So I rang it, spoke to Phil, went to Anglesey with a couple of mates, ticked that box, and that were it. And then in 2015, I noticed that the first round at Championship were at Oulton Park that year. So I said to my missus, I said, I'm going to buy myself a belated 50th birthday present to me from me. So I rang Phil again. He put me in contact with Steve Whiteleg, and here we are. I was only doing 1 round.
Steve, I think we caught up with you around 1 Oulton Park. It's been a very busy season in a short time since then. Round 5 now, Pembrey, and we start the day, you're 5th in the championship, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. As long as we keep finishing reasonably well in the points, then it's my intention to stay in that position or better it if we can. But yeah, it's going quite well. The previous round I had a few issues with handling, but we seem to have sorted that out in this morning's practice. So hopefully we should be moving a little bit further up the grid today.
And usually for Pembrey, I mean, it's a lovely circuit, but we've got really hot weather here. Great for us watching, but is that hard on you and the tyres, especially tyres, surely?
Yes, it is, yeah. Not so much on me. I'm reasonably fit, I must say. But yeah, the tyres, we are finding that the track surface here tends to tear the tyres a bit, and they're getting very hot and going away from us. But it's the same for everybody, so we're just having to deal with that as we go along.
The draw for grid positions this morning saw Kieran Beattie take pole position. Andy Bird drew P2, so he's alongside row 2, Jack Parker and Luke Tikashis. Another Luke, another rookie, Luke Simmons on row 3 with Will Gibson, then Nathan Anthony and Dan Clark. Remember, the front runners in race 1, or those that start on the front in race 1, start on the back on race 2. But it's the orange car of Kieran Beattie, the black and white 30 of Andy Bird, who get us underway for day 2 here at Pembrey. Round 5 has started, and Andy Bird has got the lead in the black number 30. Is that going to be maintained though as they go into Hatchett's hairpin for the first time? Jack Parker in blue and gold is third, and that's Mark Beattie off the track at Hatchett's. Was that first turn bunching, as it's colloquially known. Andy Bird in second position. He did have his nose in front, but he didn't have the inside line going into the hairpin, and obviously didn't want to have contact with Kieran Beattie, so at least one of the Beattie brothers has had a little bit of fortune here. Will Gibson in black and blue to the outside. Daniel Clark is next up with John Mickle vying for the inside there. Then it was the black and green car of Luke Simmons, I think, followed by John Mickle, with Luke Tikashis in the 55 being challenged by Nathan Anthony. Here's what happened with Mark Beattie. OK, dicing with Ollie Schlupp. That was a wallop And that would have damaged the car. I reckon that's going to be a retirement for Mark Beattie, not the way he wanted to get the meeting underway. Park Lane Cars, of course, sponsoring our race coverage here. But it's his brother's car that leads this one down the straight at the end of lap number 1. Most of the pace is now sorted out. Andy Bird again trying the outside run, and Kieran Beattie grabs the curb and goes straight. Was that brake failure from Kieran Beattie? So the same corner is the cause of grief for both brothers. 33 car gets back going. We also saw an issue there for Luke Tukashis very briefly, so we need to take stock of where we are. Jack Parker coming through now in the lead from Andy Bird, then Will Gibson, John Mickle, Miles Rudman, so some real top point scoring drivers here, all battling it out together. Rudman passes, John Mickle on the inside, Will Gibson up ahead of him, in car just behind is Dan Clark. So I think the drivers that have won the last goodness knows how many championships between them line astern, Rudman, Mickle and Dan Clark. Jack Parker though the race leader at the minute. Andy Bird in second place again, loves the outside, not afraid to use this line to try and get past Jack Parker, and he's got the lead. He's looking on the inside to see if he's got room just to go across. It's good driving from Andy Bird. Jack Parker still there, but running a little bit wide on the exit. Was he helped there by Jack Parker, Andy Bird, to go wide? Parker goes through. So we call a push to pass if there was contact. We didn't really see that, but Miles Rudman read it exceptionally well and goes through into the race lead. Dan Clark chased by Steve Whiteleg, then Luke Simmons having a good run in the 25. Luke with a brace of 7th positions. I think the top position taken by a rookie driver, first-year driver in the racing so far this year. He's had 2 of those, one in race 3 at Brands Hatch last time out, or last weekend's racing, and in day 1 here at Pembrey grabbed a 7th position in race 2. Rudman the leader, 2nd place is John Mickle, 3rd is Jack Parker, 4th Andy Bird, 5th Will Gibson. Daniel Clark is next, and we follow Daniel in the 14 car, new machine for this year. Steve White, the evergreen Steve Whiteleg, even though he's in red, is running superbly well in the championship. Steve Whiteleg, he is in 5th place at the moment, down behind Marcus Pett, and having a good run, but has a Mr. Whippy there, going down in towards the hairpin. We'll pick that up on board. Was that on the brakes? I think it was, to avoid the collision, so fair play Steve, very nearly tagging, if not a light touch, on the back of Andy Bird. Andy's still okay. Steve Whiteleg is still racing as well, and Jack Parker's off. Parker on the grass, through goes Will Gibson, so Jack Parker off on the grass. Dan Clark closing in on him. Steve Whiteleg managed to go past as well. So we'll take stock of the position. I think that means we've got the top 3 in the championship in that order in the race, because it's Miles Rudman leading, John Mickle in 2nd. We're looking at Jack Parker recovering ahead of Dan Clark. Dan though gets on the back end, so a little bit of bump drafting here with Jack Parker, who gesticulates out of the car. Luke Simmons in 25 is next from Nathan Anthony. Charlie Budd in white, on board with Anthony, going through Honda corner onto the main straight, past the camera on the start finish line. So it is the top 3 in the championship that are 1, 2 and 3 in this one. Will Gibson in 3rd. Jack Parker locking up going into the hairpin. Luke Simmons trying to take a tight line and go through and past Dan Clark, who seemed much happier with the car on round 4's final, the racing that took place yesterday, which we saw in our previous programme. Anthony side by side here with Charlie Budd. Great racing between the pair of them. Corner after corner they try and sort it out, and they're still racing, but I think Nathan has maybe got the better of this now. We'll see as they go into centre corner. Yes, he has. He's got clear of Charlie Budd, consolidates the place, and now starts to put a little bit of track between himself and the 44 car. Charlie will fight back. He's got Marcus Pett in the 79 car down behind him as well. Battle on for the lead. Miles Rudman still out front. John Mickle in 2nd. There is Nathan Anthony, just edging away at the moment from Charlie Budd, and things relatively for Legends Cars Racing settled at the moment. Although having said that, John Mickle looking racy at the moment in 2nd place. It's Miles Rudman the race leader. They go down into the hairpin. John Mickle, I think, probably just trying to size him up a little bit. Will Gibson said he had the car running on rails, as he did at Brands Hatch in our last race of the day at Pembrey yesterday, round 4. He's closing in on the lead duo for sure. Andy Birdie's not being left behind, and Steve Whiteleg right behind him as well. Steve recovering well from that lock-up that he had going down into the hairpin and all over the back of the reigning rookie champion Andy Bird. Jack Parker down behind there, Whiteleg having a look on the inside here, so thinking about challenging for 4th place, which will be some more handy points for him. Andy Bird, all his efforts getting him up towards the top 10 of the championship again after that write-off at Old Park. It is a long championship, so it is possible for him to climb up through the championship table and get on terms with these guys who currently head it. And Will Gibson it is that goes to the outside. Gibson challenging for second on the outside. Miles Rudman still the leader. John Mickle in the Quick Steel 4 car is there in second place at the moment. But Rudman hangs on. Gibson went tight there, thought he was going to try and pop the nose of the 57 car down the inside to take second place. Ride with Will Gibson momentarily, and John Mickle here is the meat in the sandwich. What does he do? Does he defend or does he attack? Actually, I know the answer to that. John won't be concerned about Will Gibson behind him. What he will be concerned about is trying to match Miles Rudman and get past him and get into the lead. That's all he's interested in, is grabbing the race lead. He's got momentum here as John Mickle goes through on the inside line. It was half a gap, and that is unusual from Miles Rudman. Half a gap, John Mickle goes through, Miles Rudman relegated to second, and now it's got Will Gibson all over him, but Rudman will be focused, as John was, on getting the lead back. Great racing between the top 3. Part of me wishes that the points were closer between these 3 drivers. Off goes Luke Tukashis once again, sadly into retirement. Joins Kieran and Mark Beattie into retirement of this race, so 3 retirements thus far. Ben Higgins dicing it out with Florian Robbins. Second race day for Florian this year. Blue flags being shown as John Mickle closes up now on Leonard Woodcock, having his first race of the year here today. Welcome back. Race 1 of round 5 of the Legends Cars Championship 2022. James Newberry up ahead of the 43 of Stuart McAndrew. Stuart, who shares the car with Jonty Norman, and Stuart makes the move on the inside, makes the pass. Good move there for 22nd place. These two having a good dice, as are Ben Higgins and another newcomer, Dan Pooley, racing over 19th place. Dan Pooley is really starting to find his feet now in the 32 car, ex-Oval Racing champion. As across the line, onto the last lap, go. John Mickle, Miles Rudman to the outside, Will Gibson on the inside. Now look at Rudman going for the big burn up round the outside. Can he hang on to it? Again, clean stuff from the pair of them. Gibson slides it into the hairpin, and I think gets the nose of the 57 car into second, but Miles Rudman might have a bit more momentum. Gibson clatters the curb, that might scrub a bit of speed off. Still side by side, no, Rudman's got second back. And as they go side by side and battle with each other, John Mickle is released to get clear. Steve Whiteleg coming through on the inside of Andy Bird. Here's the shot from Andy's car. Whiteleg up into 4th. Andy will fight back, but it's John Mickle who leads this one, looking for a second win of the weekend here at Pembrey. Miles Rudman in second position. Many people tipped these 3 drivers to be at the head of the championship. Others will join in for sure over the course of the year. Gibson all over the back of Rudman. Steve Whiteleg in 4th. Jack Parker has come through as well now, so Andy Bird has been passed by the recovering Jack Parker after his moment on the grass, but the checkered flag is readied and is taken by the number 4 car. John Mickle, Miles Rudman second, Will Gibson in 3rd. Jack Parker's on the grass again, and Andy Bird gets the place back. It was Will Gibson 3rd, Steve Whiteleg 4th, Andy Bird in 5th place from Jack Parker, Marcus Pett 7th, Luke Simmons in 8th from Charlie Budd, and Nick Bridgman completing the top 10. John Mickle and Miles Rudman, I think, affording a wave to each other and thumbs up. What a terrific race that was to get our 5th round of the championship underway. Confirmation of your top 10. It was Will Gibson out of those 3 who got the fastest lap of the race, the 66.489. 11th was Daniel Clark from Paul Simmons and Chris Brockhurst. Ollie Schlupp 14th from Gareth Sheridan and Mike Schlupp. Then Nathan Anthony and Bill Reid. Ben Higgins 19th. Daniel Pooley in 20th place ahead of Florian Robin. Then James Newberry, Stuart McAndrew and Leonard Woodcock in his first race of the season, finishing in 24th. Let's go down to Victory Lane with Barry.
John, another not only fine podium but a race win, 22nd career win at Pembrey, I think.
No, that's really good for the team. We come at the blocks really quick this morning in the quick steel car. It feels on rails, so hopefully it will stay like that all day. Got some engine problems in the team, so we've got to just change in the other cars, but apart from that, it's looking really good for today.
Miles, Pembrey round 5, another sunny day thankfully, and race 1 out of the way. Second place, good result.
Yeah, like you say, it was a decent result for us, second. I mean, as always is with Legends cars, it was a close race throughout. But I think I got into the lead too early and John managed to get ahead and then ended up having a little battle with Will towards the end, which just gave John a bit of breathing space. But no, we're happy with the result and move on to the next race and see if we can go on better.
Will round 5 and another well-deserved podium. So we saw you out last time. You managed to get one podium place there as well. So we've certainly got the pace as we go into this round in Pembrey.
Yeah, the car feels good. Struggled a little bit with brakes. You know, it's the first race of the day. There was no point putting a stupid move on either John or Miles. Had a bit of side-by-side racing with Miles, which was good, but that just gifted it to John at that point. I thought I would be able to get clear of Miles, but I couldn't. And yeah, as soon as you're side-by-side through 3 or 4 corners, gives such an advantage to the lead car, we couldn't catch him.
Florian, welcome back to the Legends grid. Now we're on round 5 now. I think your first time back after sampling it a year or so ago is round 4. How are you finding it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's really good. We got a brand new car. We changed team, and so we need to get used to the car and used to a brand new track. But we got really good coaching in the team, and yeah, I'm looking forward to do more and more this year.
Now you're one of the drivers, just going back slightly, that tested the water, shall we say, at one of the Brands Hatch rounds. I think you've done a couple there. Did you get hooked straight away and thought, I want to have a go at the whole season?
Oh yeah. Brands Hatch the first time was under rain, and it was a lot of fun to drive in there. So we done one race at the end of a season, and then the next season we bought a car and wanted to do the whole season, but unfortunately we had a crash at Brands Hatch to end our season basically. So we had to do a full rebuild of the car, and here we're back.
Rolling start as ever for Legends cars. Gareth Sheridan drew the last position on the grid, so he starts first for race 2. Mark Beattie alongside him, then Chris Brockhurst and Mike Schlupp. Paul Simmons is on row 3 with Ollie Schlupp. So coming down towards the start, best part of 30 cars unleashed here at Pembrey, and it's Mark Beattie who gets a good run in the green car from the outside of the front row. Mike Schlupp right behind him, Gareth Sheridan tucked in 3rd, but it's Nick Bridgman in blue coming up on the outside run. Steve Whiteleg in red, and a little bit of contact there between Bridgman and I think Gareth Sheridan. And that's left cars stranded there on turn 1. The marshals will try and recover them, so it's Nick Bridgman who had a great start. Gareth Sheridan in the mix as well. So a very crowded turn 1, and it's Mark Beattie that leads. I reckon he'll be greeted by a safety car. Steve Whiteleg in 2nd place, Mike Schlupp handy in 3rd, Charlie Budd 4th from Ollie Schlupp. Then it's Daniel Clark, Marcus Pett, and the black and blue 57 of Will Gibson. It's a long lap, so the organisers have just about a minute or so to make up their minds whether they're going to deploy the safety car. It will definitely be a yellow flag zone. If the marshals can't move those cars, then we will get a safety car, and news is coming through from race control that is exactly what's happening. So Race control will use that time to the best of their ability. Out comes the safety car. Very well timed move by the organisers. Hats off to them. Here's a replay of what happened. Nick Bridgman was edging his way towards the front, got tagged, and then actually went into Gareth Sheridan's team car. Here's the view from Mike Schlupp. So there is Bridgman across the front, turned in across Mike Schlupp. Whether he had the room to do that, again, who'd want to be a clerk of the course? Luke Tukashis threaded his way through this very well indeed. Look what Luke has to do. He has to go to the right and to the left. Very nearly collects Kieran Beattie. Luke might get some points out of it. Safety car continues around, but we're hearing there might be a little bit more effort required to move those two cars, and indeed red flag shown whilst we can clear the track properly. Cars now cleared and ready for the restart of race 2. Mark Beattie is still out front. Oh, that's just Nathan Anthony. Well, that's a big pity. The Savan will head into a 4th retirement of the season. Sorry, Nathan, to remind you of that. Rest of the runners, I think, looking okay. Yes, they are. Mike Schlupp is in 3rd, black and white number 3. Steve Whiteleg in 2nd place. He'll fancy his chances of getting up into the lead ahead of Mark Beattie, whose best results this year, brace of 9th positions in the number 85 car, both at Brands Hatch. So here we go, we're racing again and in single file, so that should negate at least some problems of bunching down into turn 1 on the restart. Charlie Budd in white to the outside. Beattie made a very good restart there. Whiteleg in 2nd. Then it is Mike Schlupp. Ollie Schlupp goes a little bit wide. Through goes Marcus Pett on the inside. Good start by the Park Lane Cars machine of Mark Beattie from Steve Whiteleg. Incidentally, we wish Gary Whiteleg well, poorly today, and not on the grid, which is a pity, as Dan Clark gets a little bit sideways. John Nicol goes through in the quick steel car. You get a massive crowd parked up in their cars, some on the banks enjoying the sunshine all the way around this 1.456 mile circuit. John Nicol scoring well so far this weekend. Here's Dan Clark, passed by Ollie Schlupp, and now by Miles Rudman, who's working his way through the field as well. Miles Rudman, I think that's 2 races this weekend. He said that he took the lead too early. It is about timing as much as anything else, so he'll be happy with the good points that he scored though, Miles Rudman. The championship lead was docked by 15 points by John Nicol in race number 1, and Steve Whiteleg takes the lead, and Marcus Pett goes down on the inside of Mark Beattie as well to take 2nd. So Mark Beattie 3rd, Mike Schlupp challenging for 3rd place now, and Ollie Schlupp goes wide. Everybody getting a little bit crossed up coming out of the hairpin. I don't know if there is some fluid down there, or whether it's just the drivers throwing the cars into that corner. Gibson and Mickle picking up on their battle again with Miles Rudman down behind them. Marcus Pett challenging for the lead. It's Steve Whiteleg who heads this one at the moment. Mark Beattie still in a decent 3rd place. This race having a slightly different look to it at the moment, and it's Steve Whiteleg in the 66 car who's got it, and Marcus Pett says, come on mate, let's have a bit of bump drafting here and try and get away, and we'll fight over the lead a little bit later on. And they're in pretty handy place at the moment. Whiteleg and Pett working together as well, trying to get away from Mark Beattie, who is in 3rd place. A little bit of a gap back to the 4th place car. Here comes the pair again. Marcus Pett, is he going to have a go for the lead? He breaks ranks, as it were, with the lead car. Charlie Budd running well there in Whitehead and Mike Schlupp, and then Will Gibson contact from Miles Rudman on the back. I think he'd invert the top 3 of the championship altogether. Daniel Clark waving. I think cars past Daniel Clark might have a problem in the 14 machine, slowing down there, but it's Steve Whiteleg still out front. Whiteleg the leader, 2nd position in the championship outright a couple of seasons ago. He did retire and then came back. Such was the draw of Legends Cars Racing for him. Schlupp passed by Miles Rudman, also passed by John Nicol. Contact between Miles Rudman and John Nicol. I don't think there was certainly nothing malicious in that, but Nicol just, I think, caught the back of Rudman's car. Let's have a look at that again. So there is John. Miles actually came back across the track in front of the John Nicol car, and John Nicol came out of that the worst. We'll have more for you here from Pembrey after the break. is a replay of that incident between Miles Rudman and John Mickle. John came the worst of those. Rudman gets back on the track. Blue Book says you have to rejoin safely. Miles had no other alternative there because the car was full of momentum, and he comes back on and grabs a place ahead of Mike Schlupp. So Miles Rudman is there ahead of Mike Schlupp. Then it's Paul Simmons out front. I'll tell you what, I thought the lead pair were trying to get away from Mark Beattie in third place, but Mark is keeping them honest at the moment in a potential podium slot. Ollie Schlupp up ahead there, the orange and blue car ahead of the black and green of Luke Simmons. Those two, along with Ben Higgins, the main protagonists in this year's Rookie Championship for first-year drivers. A very strong lineup this year in the Rookie Championship. Ben Higgins, another one in the mix there. He's in the number 20 car. Ben breaking into the top 10 for the first time in race 2 of our previous programme. He's enjoyed racing on Welsh tarmac. Jack Parker is ahead of him now in the 13 car, a racing returnee, and then down behind them the orange car of Kieran Beattie. Beattie brothers having a little bit better luck here in this one as John Mickle rejoins the race from pit lane with a huge amount of work to do. They've checked the car over and got John Mickle back out, and it's all about finishing for John because he knows that every single point will count if you start the race. Even if you finish last, the extra 5 points are worth going for and worth having in the championship at the end, and he knows that from years of Legends racing experience. Plenty of years here as well with Steve Whiteleg as Marcus Pett goes for the lead. In car with Steve Whiteleg, there is Marcus Pett making the move, going through into lead position. So change of leader, Marcus Pett, who won his first race, I think in, was it 2019 or before that? Again, we'll have to check the record books. Takes over at the front from Steve Whiteleg. Mark Beattie is in third place. Will Gibson challenging him now for that third. Gibson in fourth. Charlie Budd running well, and we're on to the last lap, and it looks like this could go the way of either Marcus Pett or Steve Whiteleg. Steve is hunting him down. Up into third goes Will Gibson on the inside. Surely they're too far clear to be caught by Mark Beattie and Will Gibson. Beattie on for a great fourth. Fifth position is Charlie Budd, having a stellar race as well. But there's racing elsewhere. Bill Reid here with Florian Robin. Those two racing for 17th and 18th place, and Steve Whiteleg still chasing. This is the battle for the lead. Look how the back end wants to break away on the lead car, but it's Marcus Pett in the 79. Best result so far this year was a third place in the final, or race 3 at Alton Park. Again, the back end wants to break away. He's right on the limit. Steve Whiteleg's keeping him honest. That was the battle for the lead. Look how close they all are behind in the pack. Kieran Beattie in the 33 chasing Jack Parker. John Mickle trying to come through as well. John, I think, is a lap down after his pit stop. We've got Leonard Woodcock in the mix as well. But the final few corners, Beckett and Steve Whiteleg goes for the outside line. Outside legs going for the lead. Let's see if he can do it. Marcus Pett's got the inside. And the momentum as they come up on Leonard Woodcock. Leonard's in the middle of the track, Whiteleg to the outside line again, down towards the checker, and Marcus Pett takes his first win of the season. Steve Whiteleg in second, Will Gibson is third from Mark Beattie. Excellent result for Beattie and Budd. Charlie Budd in fifth place, Chris Brockhurst in sixth from Miles Rudman, Andy Bird eighth, Paul Simmons in ninth, beating his son Luke Simmons into 10th position. Another cracking Legends race. And Marcus Pett is going to be thrilled with that, an 8th career win for him. And Steve Whiteleg has to be satisfied with second position. Here is confirmation of that top 10. Who got the fastest lap? Will Gibson in third place gets the fastest lap. Outside the top 10, Ollie Schlupp in 11th from Ben Higgins and Mike Schlupp. Jack Parker 14th from Kieran Beattie and Luke Tikashis. Then Bill Reid and Florian Robin. James Newberry in 19th, got the better of Stuart McAndrew. 21st goes to Leonard Woodcock from Daniel Pooley. Daniel in 22nd place, and John Mickle, the last of the finishers, in number 4 in 23rd, but picking up valuable points.
Marcus, a well-deserved win. What was it like from your point of view?
Yeah, it was really good to get a first win of the year. It felt a long time coming, to be honest, but yeah, we've been keep plugging away, and yeah, it was a great battle with Steve out there. We managed to work together on the opening laps after the restart, and yeah, had a nice battle towards the end. So a great result for us.
Steve, keep you honest there, it was a bit of a masterstroke move of yours. Was it outbraking him on that corner or whatever when you got past?
Yeah, I think so. I just managed to get the run up the inside, I think, from memory now. It seemed very frenetic out there, to be honest. But yeah, no, it was good to get into the lead and just hold it to the flag. He got a bit close on the last corner with a back marker, which is never ideal, but they did well to keep out of the way, and we managed to squeeze through and, yeah, get the run to the line.
Steve, we caught up this morning, started round 5, and with the qualifying times and so forth, we knew we had the pace. Now, that was an exciting race. I thought you had that in the bag at first.
Yes, I did. I started P11 and there was a lot of grouping and bunching at the first corner, and I thought I'm just going to stay out of the way here, go down the outside, see where I come out. And unfortunately, my teammate Nick Bridgman Motorsport, he got hit from behind. Don't know who by yet, but got hit from behind. He actually hit my car, but I managed to avoid it, and I came out in second place behind Mark Beattie, the championship sponsor. So we sort of got to pull away here, try and work with him, which we did do, and eventually got past Mark, but then it was red flagged. So it was one of those things.
Here with the 85 machine, the Parc Lane cars. Mark, that's got to be one of your best race results, hasn't it?
Yeah, we do quite well here, to be honest. Last season we got a third here, first podium, and then today obviously a fourth, but we've had some rotten luck this weekend. So gearbox issues, an engine issue yesterday, taken out in the first heat this morning, so we were due a little bit of good luck.
I was going to say that earlier bad luck. I could see your mechanics, you had a sort of twisted frame and all sorts, and yet they incredibly put it back together in time.
Yeah, the boys are amazing. We've got Lee, Colin, who runs the team for us, Lee's chief mechanic. We've got Graham, who's helping hand as well. All good hands, put loads of hours in. I mean, Colin was up till 1 o'clock this morning sorting the gearbox issue out. I can't thank them enough. You know, without them helping us this weekend, we wouldn't be out. So. And then moving on into the final, I'm not sure where we are yet, but still a couple of little tweaks to get the car right after the shunt to begin with, but it wasn't quite handling properly, but we dealt with it.
Leonard, always great to meet new faces in the championship, and round 5, Pembrey, sunny day, race 1 done and dusted, but that was your first proper race this season.
Yeah, first race this season. I had a bit of a late start really, changing teams and a few things with the cars we need to sort out, so and work commitments. So.
And one of the team cars, just explain how that works, but you're sharing the combination, it's a father-son combination, which is a great one to do. How does that work with regards to sharing?
So if we can practice on a Friday, if we can, work permitting, and then we choose which day is going to be best for each of us. So it was better for Dylan yesterday because he'd obviously trained on the Friday, jumped in the car yesterday, and he's got some instruction from Miles, so which is great. It's great to be with Miles and have the help there. It's just dumped me in a little bit today because everyone's up to speed and I'm way back. So.
So the reverse grid final, the top point scorers off the back of the grid, along with drivers electing to start off the back or newcomers looking to gain experience like James Newberry and Dan Pooley, who we saw there. But the drivers who haven't done so well in races 1 and 2, Luke Tukashis on pole, Gareth Sheridan alongside then Kieran Beattie and Ben Higgins on row 2. We are Legends Cars Racing. And it's Gareth Sheridan that leads, Ben Higgins coming up on the outside in the 20 car into second place, Luke Tukashis is third, Nick Bridgman fourth, gets it all sideways, and Kieran Beattie in orange goes on his inside line through Spitfires and into DeBenny for the first time. Sheridan the leader, the Welsh youngster, Ben Higgins in second place, Dan Clark coming under pressure from Nick Bridgman. I think Clark has got past Bridgman, chasing John Mickle, who starts further up the grid due to that, not a non-finish but lowly finish. It was a finish nonetheless, and points for John in race 2. I'll say relatively clean start, actually probably one of the cleanest we've had, despite it being pretty much a virtually fully reversed grid. So hats off to everybody in this one. There is Mark Beattie in the 85, side by side with Jack Parker. Mike Schlupp in the JLM car immediately in front of us. So these early laps give the guys that have scored well a chance to work their way through the field. And I adore the format in Legends cars where if you've had a rubbish or disappointing races 1 and 2, you get the opportunity to start off the front. Oh, the sideways moment there. I think that might have been for Mark Beattie. Going back to what I was saying, you have the opportunity to start off the front, maybe get a first win. It's a magical thing in Legends cars when a driver gets the first win. Mike Schlupp working hard. Lost a little bit of ground there. It's his son Ollie who's got one over on him at the moment. Mike not looking the happiest at the minute in his car. He's still in the mix though. He's got Jack Parker behind him, then Mark Beattie, Chris Brockhurst, Marcus Pett, who's having a good day, and Charlie Budd, who had a terrific result in the previous race. Chris Brockhurst immediately in front of us there. So many drivers who haven't won races that have the potential. I think that was Luke Takashis. Indeed it was. Pulls the car into retirement and well out of harm's way. Well done, Luke. Disappointing for him. But Ben Higgins, look at Ben Higgins, the race leader from Gareth Sheridan. Challenge on for third. I've said drivers really coming on this weekend. They're making strides as Mark Beattie scythes past Mike Schlupp. So Mark Beattie making progress. Obviously sounding a lot happier on his interview about this weekend, and a great result for him. He has had a podium before, but a 4th position, best result of the season for him in race number 2. It's still very crowded indeed as Marcus Pett just gives a little tap on the back end of Mike Schlupp. Tries to look at the inside run here. Lovely to see Marcus on the top step of the podium in the previous race, shaking things up in the Legends order. Obviously he was quick at Alton Park, was second in the championship, leaving there, really getting his form back is Marcus Pett, in car with Will Gibson, who's due some decent luck as well after his race win. So Gibson chasing Marcus Pett, Jack Parker down the inside of Ollie Schlupp, then Mark Beattie, Daniel Clark, Chris Brockhurst all going through as well. Brockhurst tees up the inside run there on former champion Daniel Clark, makes a position up here in the final. Ben Higgins goes out of shot. Very good lead that he's got here. Miles Rudman up into third. Gareth Sheridan in 99 fourth. Second place is Paul Simmons in the 51. Kieran Beattie goes through in orange. We're in car with Nick Bridgman. Gareth Sheridan in front of him. Bridgman has been working hard all weekend. Shown a good turn of pace as well over the course of the meeting as Bridgman. Ollie Schlupp being chased there by Chris Brockhurst, Jack Parker, then it's Mark Beattie, Daniel Clark down behind him at the moment. Now are we going to see a home win here for Ben Higgins? Oh, and over the grass, and very bouncy it is on the ground. That has really dishevelled the 33 car, wiped the momentum off Kieran Beattie and his brother Mark, trying to chase Chris Brockhurst through on the inside. A battle of the two brothers. Mark Beattie's got the line. I'm sure his brother's seen him here along the straight, Speedway straight, up into the next corner. I think the 85 will pass the 33. Charlie Budd having a look on the inside of Mike Schlupp, and the two cars make contact, and Will Gibson goes into the side of Charlie Budd. Gibson's luck, such as it was at this meeting, it was bad at the start. He got some good luck starting to happen. We've got contact, I think, at the front as well. Problems there for Paul Simmons. Nick Bridgman has gone through. So loads happening. Will Gibson is still going. Charlie Budd was looking on the inside of Mike Schlupp. Popped a wheel on the curb, maybe on the dirt just a little bit. Will Gibson has got going again. And we'll try and get some consolation points in this race. Now I reckon we're going to get a safety car here, and that is not good news for Ben Higgins, because he built up that lead from the front, and that's how very often you can get a first time win in Legends. Gareth Sheridan about to be passed by Jack Parker, but Jack realises that we're under safety car and makes sure that Gareth Sheridan gets the position. A brief look there at the stricken car of Charlie Budd. We've already had Luke Takashis as a retirement from this one. Under safety car, Will Gibson still going in the 57. And in fact, again, the organisers red flagging the race, so we're going to have to get set for another restart. So pit lane starter is Daniel Clark, not his meeting either. And Ben Higgins He's got the double champion Miles Rudman right behind him now, and he had a good lead before the race stoppage. And with a fair wind, would have potentially taken his first win here. Easy for me to say that, curse of the commentator, I suppose. Nick Bridgman, though, is having a decent race up into fourth. Remember, we lost Paul Simmons, who was up at the sharp end just after the incident with Charlie Budd and Will Gibson, and Mike Schlupp as well. Charlie's car has been cleared, and we're racing again, and Miles Rudman immediately to the outside, up into the lead. Ben Higgins second. John Mickle will challenge Ben Higgins for second position. Oh, it's all very close again. Sideways moment. Great correction there on the steering by Jack Parker in the 13, but it's Miles Rudman here looking for another win. Ben Higgins in second. This is going to be okay. Ben is going to be disappointed not to have been leading this one at this point by the lead he had, but he's getting some terrific experience here of being up at the sharp end and under pressure from the likes of Miles Rudman and John Mickle, who is there, plus Nick Bridgman in fourth place. Bridgo having another very good run indeed, up ahead of Paul Simmons. So Paul having a decent run of it. Here's the view from Nick Bridgman, and John Mickle going through, makes the place on Ben Higgins, and following through as well is Nick Bridgman. Chris Brockhurst in the queue as well. There is Steve Whiteleg up ahead of Ollie Schlupp, and we ride on board with Ollie now. Steve Whiteleg showed some real pace in race number 2, where Marcus Pett took the win, and again those onboard shots give you the idea of just how on the edge these cars are as they go through the high-speed corners here at Pembrey. Ben Higgins under pressure, just outbrakes himself a little bit. A couple of cars go through. Higgins still in the mix though. Chris Brockhurst ahead of him. Jack Parker nibbling away in the 13 car now, and the young Welshman, see whether he can go through. Steve Whiteleg in the mix too. It's Paul Simmons at the head of this group at the moment in that 15 car, on board with Mark Beattie. Looks like his brother has actually managed to stay ahead of him despite that grassy moment. Kieran Beattie, he took the lap record at Brands Hatches. At the moment out front, here is Steve Whiteleg again down the Speedway straight, trying to get on terms with Jack Parker, and Parker I think working well here with, I was going to say working with Ben Higgins. He's behind Ben Higgins. I thought they might have been bump drafting, and Higgins is having a little go at Chris Brockhurst here, and this is what I was saying about Ben Higgins getting the confidence to get in the mix and dice with drivers with a little bit more Legends experience than him. Parker and Whiteleg decide to have a little bit of bumper cars. Whiteleg to the outside leg at the hairpin. There he goes on the outside of Chris Brockhurst. He's forced too wide. Parker again looking crossed up as they go through the hairpin. Steve Whiteleg trying to chase down Jack Parker. This is frenetic stuff for those valuable championship points. Ben Higgins has held on exceptionally well here. He knows a win's out of the question now, I think, but he's gunning for every single point that he can get. Through they go again. Higgins from Jack Parker, then the Bridgman Motorsport car of Steve Whiteleg. Things beginning, I think, maybe to calm down a bit. Will Gibson working his way through the field. Andy Bird in front of him, so Will on yet another recovery drive. Hopefully the car not too damaged. He certainly does seem to be making up places. John Mickle with the fastest lap on this one at the moment in the number 4 car, so showing terrific pace once again, the man from Horsham. Here comes Nick Bridgman having a challenge as well on John Mickle. Side by side, Ben Higgins in the 2013, Jack Parker, Paul Simmons ahead of them. Simmons passed by Brockhurst. Ben Higgins is going to nip through on the inside as well. Simmons on the wide line there. Higgins is going to try and go through inside for this corner, outside for the next one, and this is where you jostle. I tell you what, Higgins drove that superbly, and if he can hold on there, he'll grab the inside line once they've completed this curve. Mark Beattie ahead of Steve Whiteleg. Beat him on. Great stuff from him. Into the next corner, Jack Parker in the mix as well. Chris Brockhurst at the head of this group. And these guys just shy of the podium positions at the moment, so this is all for 4th place, this group of cars. Oh, Marcus Pett, disappointment for Marcus Pett. He thought his championship, I think, challenge was on a bit of momentum, but that momentum just being rubbed out for the moment. That's a real shame. But Fourth in the championship, might lose that. We're on to the last lap now. It's Miles Rudman from John Mickle, those two fighting for the lead. And Paul Simmons has a spin. Third place is Nick Bridgman. Fourth position, Chris Brockhurst. Big fight going on behind them. I tell you what, Ben Higgins, I know I was talking about the win, but this could be the best finish by a rookie this year for Ben Higgins, and that is going to be something for him to take home. He's chasing Chris Brockhurst. Through they go. Now here's a replay. Jack Parker getting a bit crossed up. So too did Luke Simmons, who spins around. But this is the last lap, remember. Now Miles Rudman in the past said he took the lead too early. Did he get into the lead too early here? He's got John Mickle right behind him, and this is exactly the sort of cat and mouse racing that we get used to from these two multi-champions battling it out. Rudman in front, John Mickle chasing him hard in the quick steel car. Rudman's got the upper hand, but here comes John Mickle. Looks to the outside as they go to Honda. Can he get the momentum off the curve? He's chasing, but it's Miles Rudman that takes the win. John Mickle in second, Nick Bridgman an excellent third place. Great result for Chris Brockhurst in fourth, and the best rookie result of the year, fifth position for Ben Higgins. Jack Parker is in sixth place from Ollie Schlupp, Mark Beattie eighth. Will Gibson recovers for ninth ahead of Steve Whiteleg. That is your top 10. And Miles Rudman, the championship leader, just giving the others a little message. Do you know what? He'll sound really cool, calm and collected in the interviews, as he always does. Here's confirmation of the top 10 that I just gave you. John Mickle getting the fastest lap back on lap 4 as well. Just outside the top 10, Kieran Beattie in 11th from Andy Bird and Luke Simmons. Then it was Gareth Sheridan and Bill Reid. Daniel Clark 16th from Florian Robin. Paul Simmons 18th from Daniel Pooley and James Newbury. 21st was Stuart McAndrew. And the finishers completed by 3-2-1 Leonard Woodcock.
Okay, Nick, what a fantastic way to end the weekend. A good podium, well deserved.
Yep, I'm really pleased. We had a bit of bad luck the race before, and we've been a bit hit and miss with some good results and bad results, and I'm really chuffed.
John, overall a great double header round for you at Pembrey, and a good way to finish.
Yeah, that was a good way to finish. Obviously, it was nice to get a top 3. There was a lot of incident in the last race, but we seemed to pick our way through it quite nicely. Obviously, the safety car come out, bunched us all up, and we just got need another lap really to get past the number 1 car. But it is what it is. Can't blame it. Good weekend. Shame we got took out in one race, but that's what it is on Sunday. But we just brush yourself off and go again.
An absolute great way to end the weekend. Now, a close race, obviously red flag and so forth, but on the first half of the reforming lap, great move to the front.
Yeah, sure, like you say, I mean, we had to start at the back and work our way through the pack, and we managed to get down to second quite early on, and there was a safety car, unfortunately, and little Ben Higgins was in the lead, and on the restart I managed to just get past him going into the hairpin, and just tried to get my head down really and get the win.
Top point scorer on the day, and the winner of round 5 is Miles Rudman with 515 points. Will Gibson second with 450, and Steve Whiteleg picked at the post third on 445 points ahead of John Mickle and Chris Brockhurst. Since filming this round at Pembrey, news has reached us of the very sad passing of Tick Stewart. Tick was the first driver to join the Formula back in 1996, inaugural champion that year, and again in 1999 when he also became the first UK driver to win the World Championship. Thanks for joining us today here on the Legends Cars Championship. We'll see you next time at Brands Hatch.